She talks. She listens. She cares. She's Joyce Oglesby. In today's ever-changing world, Joyce takes on the hottest issues. She fights for what's right in America.
I wanna leave a legacy. How will they remember me?
Just Ask Joyce is brought to you by Guaranteed Total Construction, Window World, Nan's and Crafts Florists, Squire Boone Caverns, and About Face Spa and Salon. Now, just ask Joyce.
And leave that kind of legacy.
And welcome to Just Ask Joyce. I'm Joyce Oglesby, your Family Life Fix-It Pro, getting you fit for life and love every day God's way. Now today is really going to be getting you fit for love because we're going to talk about marriage. And I know that marriage is just, it's a journey. Can I say that? It really is a journey. And I know that sometimes it's just difficult to maneuver and navigate through that journey. And I think sometimes that we make it more difficult than it really has to be. You know, Webby and I have always, and Webby is my husband, if you're just joining me and you're like, who is this lady? And why is she talking about a Webby? Well, Webby is my husband, short for Webster. But Webby and I have been married for more than 4 decades now. And we know that and understand that marriage is a journey. And we know that it's not always simple, but I can tell you that we try to live out marriage as simply as we can because there's no need to live it any other way. But I believe that we as people complicate marriage. I actually am writing a book, Simply Married. It's as complicated as we make it. And I believe that we really do make marriage complicated sometimes. But you know what can complicate marriage is life. Life just happens for everybody. And I don't care if you're a pastor's wife like myself. And so, you think that sometimes preachers' families must have a wonderful life. Well, we have train wreck lives just like you guys do. And maybe a little bit more because, everybody kind of wants a little bit of the preacher or a lot of the preacher. And, and then of course I'm in the ministry and I also have a career of court reporting. And so life just happens for us at breakneck speed sometimes. And it's been that way for a while. It just didn't happen overnight. But we have 2 kids in the mix. So we're just like you, we were parents and we were trying to raise our children and now we have grandkids and so those are all in the mix. And so life just gets really hairy and the older I get, the less life slows down, if that makes any sense, and I'm sure it does for you. But I'm going to address an email today, and I pray that it is going to help you in some way in your marriage, just to kind of open your eyes and just see maybe how life is handing you a bad rap when it comes to your marriage, and then how you can adjust that to make marriage work for you. Now, let me just dig right into this email. And of course, before I do, I want to remind you that I am a Family Life Fix-It Pro. I help you with relationships, but I can't help you if you don't write me. So it's as simple as that. Write me. JustAskJoyce.com is my website. You can go there and just click on the contact me. It comes straight to me. Or you can write me justaskjoyce@gmail. Or you saw my phone number there. You can pick up the phone and call me. That's straight to me. But I would love to help you, but I can't if you don't ask. Just ask Joyce. That's what it's all about. All right, so let's go to this email. It says, Joyce, my husband and I seem to always be on opposite pages, whether it's a parenting issue, his career, my parents, or scheduling events. We seem to understand one another's intentions. Or misunderstand one another's intentions. We've been married for 12 years. We both work in the corporate world and manage very busy offices. One would think we would have crossed this hurdle years ago. Now that our children are older, they have figured out how to use this against us. I just love that. Are you hearing this parent bemoan that? We genuinely love one another, she says, and would like to make our marriage work. The problem is communication, but we obviously haven't figured out a formula that works for us. Is there one that does? Oh my goodness, what a loaded question. I'm telling you, it is a loaded question. Formulas are simply equations which show relationship between two fickle personalities. Now that's an original from Just Ask Joyce. Yes, so let me just tell you that again. Formulas are simply equations which show relationship between two fickle personalities. Wisdom dictates that a steady habit resulting in a positive outcome might well become something difficult to give up. Now I want you to just mull that over and think about what I just said. Might be something difficult to give up. Right? Well, let me just say this. Communication is generally at the root of every failing relationship. That is a problem because someone has failed to communicate properly, given whether it's what time to pick up the kids or how you really feel about something that has happened to you. Marriage, however, seems to comprise the highest degree of the lack thereof. You look at any marriage, and many couples, when they come to me for mentoring advice, they will tell me, we just don't seem to communicate well. And that is a problem to a high degree for a lot of marriages, yes. So why is that so? Why would that be? Well, the simple explanation is this: because we expect our spouse to absolutely read our minds. We expect our spouse to know what we're thinking, our spouse to understand what we meant by what we didn't say. And so we expect our spouse to know us so intimately that they have that inner connection with us like no one else. And guys, that's the way it should be. But I can tell you, out of the 40 plus years that Webby and I have been married, I can tell you, it's a difficult thing to do even then, and we are very intimately connected. I can almost complete his thoughts. I know how he's going to think about something before he even says it. I know him that intimately, but yet I still can't read his mind, and I don't expect him to be able to read mine, because I can tell you I'm a woman and I change mine from time to time. We are good about that, right? But mind reading is an exasperating task for spouses. You understand? It is exasperating. It is a sixth sense that requires all other senses to be fully functional and engaged. All the other senses have to be engaged if you're going to mind read. And here it is. If one is going to slack, let me tell you what it's typically going to be. Hearing. Likewise, you can't read someone's mind. So I'm going to address a few glaring issues just from this email, and then I'm going to offer some bullet point plans for hopefully future consideration of this couple, and something that hopefully will fix their marriage, because I already see some beginnings of the end, and I don't ever want a marriage to come to that. All right, I just want to point out this, that your lack of communication is really steady on course. All right, it's steady on course. Most every area of your marriage is struggling. Most every area of your life is struggling, and I would surmise that your sex life is too. Why would I surmise that? Because typically, when it breaks into the bedroom, other things start to mount up, and then you all of a sudden realize all these flaws and all these problems and these issues that are just kind of gnawing at you and irritating you. So I would pray that you get that back on track, and of course, if you don't, I think that your genuine love is going to start to erode. All right. The fact that your children have learned to manipulate you is a big problem. You understand that? It is. You are setting yourself up for future parental disaster. And so you guys need to get a handle on that and get on the same page if you're parenting really quickly. And then finally, you both seem well equipped to communicate. You really do. The key to success in managing corporate offices is direct communication. And so you're both successful by your own admission of doing this. All right, so therefore, having said that, the following fix of Joyce's is going I pray, to be easier for you and that you can follow these along. Here's number one, all right? Set aside devices. Oh, did I have to start there? Oh, yes, I did have to start right there. If it's a cell phone or other electronic distraction, I want you to understand that you can't have your ears engaged if you have that distraction, the cell phone, an iPad, I don't care what it is. You can't be engaged to listen and to read a mind, to be in tune with that intimate connection that you have with your spouse if you are distracted by some device, regardless of what it is. So make certain that each of you have surrendered your undivided attention. You know, you want that surrender so that you now are just his and he's yours or whatever, so that you can really be in tune with each other. We're going to go to a quick break and I'm going to come back and give you some more advice, Joyce's fix for this little marital issue. Don't go away.
You're watching Just Ask Joyce, where real life and family values connect. Just Ask Joyce is brought to you by Guaranteed Total Construction, Window World, Nan's and Crafts Florists, Squire Boone Caverns, and About Face Spa and Salon.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Just Ask Joyce show where real life and family values connect. And we are addressing an email today from a woman who says that they are failing at communication in their marriage and she wants to know if there's a formula. So I've been going through this very methodically with you and I am up to point 2. Of course, I'll review the first point, which is, set aside the devices. That's pretty easy. But the second one I want you to be aware of is watch body language. Watch body language. It's a strong indicator of whether your listener is engaged, and so just watch that body language. And if they're looking somewhere else or if they're not looking at you, they are not maybe totally engaged. If they're cooking dinner or, I don't know, piddling around in the garage or whatever, do you really have their attention? So watch that body language. Sharp, angry words could lock in a gaze, but it often unplugs the ability to retain. So don't get their attention by saying, "Are you listening to me?" You see what I'm saying? I mean, that might get their attention, but they might just unplug that ability to retain because they're already thinking about how angry they are at you or, what was that all about? So they're thinking about other things. So watch that, all right? All right, then number 3. Communicate your desires clearly. Clearly. I learned the hard way that no one understood my intent better than I did. Have you found that? I know what I'm talking about. I know how I meant to explain it, but perhaps it didn't come across clearly. So I thought you knew what I meant. But did you say it out loud? Did you enunciate it clearly? Did you spell it out? Dot the I's, cross the T's when you're trying to communicate something. When I send Webby to the store for something, unless I tell him specifically maybe the type item that I want, because let me tell you, you have a lot of choices at stores, remember? Unless I tell him, well, this is the brand I want, or I want them diced instead of chopped, or, or diced instead of halved, or whatever. Spell it out. Say, honey, I really would like, this brand done this way, this many ounces. Listen, I have found that husbands love to please you. If they're going to go to the extent to do something for you that you've asked, they really want to do it right. But they can't read your mind again. And if they don't do all the shopping all the time, or they know exactly what you want, they're going to miss the mark. And then, and then you're going to be irritated and it makes just for a bad life, right? Exactly. All right. The next one, sync your calendars. Sync your calendars. Listen, if Johnny needs to be picked up at a friend's house at 6 in the evening, post that to your calendar on your little digital device that will alert you. Guess what? I have to. But then make sure that you send a message, hey, I've got Johnny covered, But what I love about my husband is that he always asks, honey, what can I do for you today? Is there anything I can help lighten your load about? And I try to do the same thing with him too. Because if I'm going into town and he's not, he's going to say, what can I help you with? And, if I can lighten your load in some way, because remember our philosophy is you are more important than I am. You are more important than I am. So when we're looking out after the other one's needs because they're more important, everybody's needs are going to be met, right? But whoever is assigned to the task should notify, hey, I'm on it. And it's so easy now to do. I mean, don't text and drive, that's not a good thing, right? But Siri helps us to vocalize that, or what I try to do is I try to send the message before I crank the car and hey, I'm on it, got this baby covered. So there you go, peace of mind. You can't beat it in a marriage. We'll be back. Don't go away, I've got another point you don't want to miss. Welcome back to Just Ask Joyce. I've been giving an emailer a formula for communication today. Let me just recap what we have gone over so far. Number 1, set aside devices. 2, watch body language. 3, communicate your desires clearly. And 4, sync your calendars. Now, the next one, everybody needs to know this one. Slow down. Slow down. All too often couples are discharging this laundry list of all these days' activities and things that they need doing, or what one or both are involved in, and they're rushing out the door to work and they don't even stop to kiss or hug or say I love you before they do. And so, we're just living, as I said, these train wreck lives. But we have to slow down and really understand what truly matters here. So, just a few tips here. Discuss your matters of concerns and schedules at a more leisurely time. Now, Webby and I try to do that maybe at night before, and then we do that little refresher in the morning. Nighttime is a great time. After the kids are in bed. I know we have an empty nest now, but we often have grandkids there. Because we love those babies and we just love to keep them anytime. But, after they're in bed, the two of you just have your downtime. Turn off that stinking television and just enjoy one another for a little bit. I know that you have programs you love to watch and, or ball games or whatever, but hey, really, what's more important, all right? Turn off the television, put down the cell phones, disconnect from social media, get off that Facebook. Women, you're really bad about it. But guys, I'm just going to say this, you're bad about it too, aren't you? You like that social media. So disconnect from all that stuff. And now take a deep breath and you can communicate, all right? Those are your 5 steps. And if you'll do those things, I guarantee you that your love life and your life will improve. We'll be back after this short break. Don't go away. I'm loving me some Nans and Craft. Can I just tell you that? They just thrill my heart every time they send flowers. I don't care what it is they send, it's always beautiful and they just thrill my heart. Thank you so much. Make sure that you send, I've sent several bouquets lately, and I always send them from Nans and Craft because I know the quality that they're going to give. So make sure when you send your special flowers to someone special that you choose Nans and Craft and tell them I sent you. Would you do that? They always like to hear from that. Now, let me go to my quote for the day, which is going to kind of just tie up this segment on marriage and communication with you. And here it is. Wisdom, I said it earlier in the show, do you remember? Wisdom dictates that a steady habit resulting in a positive outcome might well become something difficult to give up. Now, that will resonate with you. You know, if you want something positive to happen in your marriage, you might have to give up something. And it might be a difficult something to give up, like television or devices. But here's the thing. When all is said and done, you know, the offices that you manage, the Facebook pages that you manage, all these devices that you engage in, they're not going to provide all the comforts that you need. I'll promise you that. They're not going to build those kinds of relationships that are meaningful to you. I promise you that. You know, you might pour and invest your whole life and time and energy and efforts into, you know, climbing that corporate ladder, but your kids are going to be gone and gone someday, soon. And your marriage might be in rubbles by the time that you decide that, hey, where's my time gone? You know, accomplishments in your careers, you know, they're laudable, but, you know, they lack the ingredients to leave a legacy of love, and you know that's what I'm all about on this show. So we are keenly aware of what the road to hell is paved with, right? Aren't we? The best of intentions, but the best of intentions are meaningless. You hear me? They are meaningless until you make the time to convey them and to keep that genuine love in place. And that's what you spoke of. You genuinely love each other. And I just want you to keep that genuine love as something that will carry out throughout your whole legacy. All right? I pray that you have been blessed today. I'm Joyce Oglesby, bringing you a little bit of marriage formula for your marriage. And if you missed this show, go back to my Just Ask Joyce YouTube.com and just check them out there. And of course, write me, justaskjoyce@gmail.com, and let me help you with yours. And in the meantime, I'm in battle for his cause.